Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. I'm Allie and I am a domestic wannabe. And right now I am doing the FlyLady zone cleaning from zone 1 to zone 5 and documenting my journey along the way. All right, so I've just had a wardrobe change because my husband got home and I said, hey, does this shirt look nice? And he said, it looks fine. So I had to change. Anyway, I have been working in the office. I moved most of the stuff. So I did not get to touch the closet in the office, and I kind of shoved as much as I could in the closet down in the office. But a lot of this stuff is stuff that needs to be sold because I want this office, this new, bright, shiny, new to me office to work for me. I'm putting a time limit on this pile. And that pile is going to get moved quickly. And if it doesn't move, it's going to get donated. I still have to go through it. Some of it I have to keep, but I don't know what it is yet. So I think I've made a good dent in that downstairs office so that my husband can start making it his space. I'm sure there's some things I couldn't reach because of the drum set. So he'll work on that and then we'll get whatever the rest is that's not in the closet. Once I finish all of this, I'm going to start doing 15 minutes a day down in that closet to go through stuff and kind of declutter the closet. I would imagine it would take me about, if I do 15 minutes a day, it's probably gonna take me a week to 2 weeks, possibly 3. There's a lot of stuff in there. But this pile is priority number 1 because I refuse to let anything take over this office. And I'm really just making sure this space remains a space that I can continue to work in and work on my businesses in. So I'm just kind of going piece by piece. Right now, my husband just got home. We have a friend coming over. So I'm just kind of trying to make this look a little bit more presentable because she's never been to our home before. And you know, I like to have the house presentable. With that being said, I'm just gonna work until I have to stop. There's the update. We're still on the 28th. After this, I've got 2 days to go. 2. So to finish up working in my office on day 28, I just focused on basically office supplies because that was a big part of what I carried up from downstairs. So it was just putting office supplies into little spaces. If you recognize that bin, that is the bin I have used as my kind of temporary folder holder for my temporary office. And it is filled right now with just receipts and random papers because that's what was left in there. And I decided this was the best time to just finally sort through it, get rid of the trash, and file away what needed to be filed away. That thing of receipts, it's a Tupperware container full of receipts. They are receipts from, I think, 2022, possibly 2021. They just need to be filed and gone through because they were already accounted for. That was my filing system. So not very impressed with it. And I also believe I was not ready to actually deal with it. So I didn't. But I did get rid of a pretty good pile of garbage that is gone forever. So yay, you know, it's little achievements. Then it's just kind of taking a look at what is all in this corner. Everything got stuck in this corner and it's being used as a sort corner, and it's something I'm trying to avoid having be here long term. I started the next day working on decluttering this corner. Now there are some things I know I don't need, and then some things that I know I need to focus on later. So some of the stuff that's in here is, I've mentioned it before, I really like scrapbooking. I just never have the time for it. So I decided anything that pertained to scrapbooking, I'm not ready to go through. I'm not ready to declutter it. So I will just put it into these bins where is hidden out of sight, but is close enough for me to go through. So what I'm going to be doing is adding it into my calendar for a few months out, because I have a few big projects that I have to work on now. Scrapbooking feels like it's more of a winter thing anyway. Within a few months, I will have it in my calendar that basically it's like, this is the deadline. You either have to go through it, declutter it, or get rid of it. So there will be a deadline of making decisions, but right now is not that time. But having it in these bins hides it from view, so it is not a stressful thing. And I have the space right now to do this. So that is the plan for right now. I'm putting it in the calendar as we speak. I am going to do it for November 10th. You heard it here, everyone. November 10th is my deadline to go through all the scrapbooking stuff. I'm going to write it on the calendar and let's see how I do in regards to keeping up with that deadline. Nothing like putting a little pressure on myself by telling all of you my plan of action. Books are getting moved around because what I like about this kind of shelving unit and having baskets is you can have things accessible, but it can also be hidden so it's not very cluttered and full of stuff. So if you can't tell, pink has always been one of my favorite colors. And I don't know if I'm going to keep it this way in the office for sure right now. It might get changed, but for now, I'm not purchasing any additional things for the office aside from those drawer organizers that I shared a few videos back. I am really focused on decluttering and using what I already have, keeping a really tight budget on this space. Ultimately, though, I do want to get a walking pad as well as a desk that rises and lowers. So that's the dream. It's not something I'm doing right now, but that is the goal for this space. So something I can save up for. So I found, this is washi tape that I use, I had bought when I started doing a bullet journal. And I thought it was just a really fun, creative way just to spice up my to-do lists every day. And I thought these would fit perfect in one of these containers, the drawer organizers. Turns out I completely misjudged how big it was. So scrapped that idea and put it all back into its original box and then stuck that in with scrapbooking stuff. So not all plans work out the way we want, right? I am finding that I am way more go with the flow when things don't work out. And that is a huge step forward during this whole process, getting rid of my perfectionist tendencies and allowing myself to not have plans go the way that I think or I feel they were supposed to in the first place. And I tell you, it feels good to not have that kind of pressure on myself. All right, it is day 30 of zone cleaning, you guys. I am feeling good. Today, we're going into 4th of July weekend. We have plans starting today. My husband took off work, so he is playing with my son. They are swimming. I am in the office to do work, like my job work. I have X amount of things I need to get done. And I'm gonna get those done, and then I will do my zone clean and all of that. And then I'm gonna run and get groceries for the weekend. We are hosting on Sunday, my family, just for lunch and swimming and dinner. And we are going to, my brother's bringing like bratwurst, hot dogs, or cheeseburger, stuff to grill. And then we are making pizzas. So we're gonna do homemade pizzas. We have a pizza oven we got last summer. I got it on clearance for a great deal. We had a lot of fun making pizzas last fall. So we are gonna make the pizza dough later today, and I am in charge. We have a party we're going to tomorrow, and I said I'd bring cookies. So I am making 2 brand new cookies to knock off 2 cookies on my 39 by 39, a churro cookie and a s'mores cookie. I thought they're gonna be having tacos, so I thought the churro cookie fit in perfect, and the s'mores I thought fit perfect for 4th of July. So I'm making 2 cookies for tomorrow's party. I'll save some of them for Sunday as well. And I'm making pizza doughs, and I'm making a Neapolitan dough. It makes 12 pizzas. I think they're probably individual, so they're probably, anyway, I'm making pizza dough today. and I'm making cookies, and I'm excited because the house is in good shape. It needs a tidy. It needs a daily fix, I should say. The dishes do need to be done, but I'll take care of that after I get my work done. It's gonna be a low-key weekend. We're gonna have fun. I'm gonna enjoy it. And the 4-room switcheroo reveal will be done shortly. I'm really excited for you guys to see it. But I have to get my work done first. Priorities. Let's go. So once I finished working, I realized that my time was running out to get my 2 kinds of cookies and my pizza dough ready. And the reason, the pizza dough is for the next day, but I did need to have it done because it's best to let pizza dough rest for at least 24 hours to get the best flavor. So I wanted to make sure I had that done so it was ready for our 4th of July events the next day. And those cookies, were a bit time intensive, and I was really excited to make them. So I jumped right into my baking. I thought I would have plenty of time to go from one to get the baking done and then do the quick house tidy. But it turns out I put that off until the next day because we had a party to get to. You know, it all worked out so good. What I found from my experience of doing zone cleaning, what I found is the tidy up for the next day, it took no time at all. It was so easy. I did it right after breakfast. It took mere minutes. I ran the vacuum over the floor. The house was basically completely ready to go, aside from some details I would do for guests coming over, like rerunning the vacuum, cleaning the toilets, that kind of thing. And I tell you, it went quick. It was easy, and it is a big part of it is because of all the routines I have been working on. And I really think the zone cleaning, focusing on the deep cleaning of those areas, was a huge help. And it made it's so nice for me to be able to make my 2 kinds of cookies and my pizza dough. And you can see I am completely juggling baking cookies, making pizza dough. What I did not film was making the s'mores cookies, which turned out so delicious. Both of these cookies were 5 out of 5 stars in my book, and I will link them below to the author of them. It's actually the same author. I will link her recipes below because I highly recommend trying these cookies out if you want to give them a try. And my pizza dough, it had to knead for 10 minutes. I tell you, the motor, it was so hot because I had my KitchenAid just working that day. So the motor was very hot, and I let it cool before I even left the house because I am a worrier when it comes to fire safety. So I had to let my KitchenAid have a good cool down before I got my frosting going for the churro cookie. And I tell you, I cleaned as I went. You can see in the back there, that is actually a bunch of dishes that were still like wet from the dishwasher. And I will not put dishes away wet because, especially plastic products, when things are wet and they get put together, mold can form very quickly. So I will make sure things completely air dry if I take them out of the washer and they're still wet. So that is actually a lot of dishes and food for the next day and clean towels that just need to be folded. I know it looks like a mess, but I promise it did not take me long to clean up. I just was more excited to be baking today. So I am baking off my s'mores cookies and getting the frosting for the churro cookie ready. Now, I had a huge debacle as I was cooking these. I realized after I started making the churro cookie that I did not have enough cinnamon. So I luckily have a group text with neighbors, and I sent a text out, and I had 2 people that were like, "I've got what you need, come on over." And then every neighbor was just like, "Come get your cinnamon, come get it." So the 2 that were that offered right away, one was a little bit closer, so I ran to her house knowing I was just walking with my kiddo. So I went to the closer one, but I brought them both cookies to say thank you for being so willing to help me. And it saved me what would have been 30 minutes driving to a store, shopping, and getting home. So it saved me a ton of time, and I was able to share my cookies with some neighbors. And it was so delicious. I Now I'm just dividing out the pizza dough. Last year when I bought my pizza oven, we bought a fermenter as well for pizza dough. It was not something I expected to buy last year, but it worked and it really came in handy. So it is a pizza fermenter. Fermenter? Yeah, a pizza fermentation station. Designed just for pizza dough. So I bought that last year and I want to make sure I get my value of my bang for my buck. And here are the finished cookies. I tell you, please go down to those recipes, give them a try. Chef's kiss, both delicious. Everybody loved them. So these are the cookies. I hope you enjoyed it. Now we are officially done with day 30. I tidied the house day 31 technically, or July 1st. And I tell you, it was one of the easiest getting ready for guests I've ever had. And it is because of these 30 days that I have been doing the zone cleaning with FlyLady. The reveal is coming soon because yes, I am going to show you how this all turned out. So make sure you come on back and check it out.